Pringle Bay is a small coastal village in South Africa, about 80 kilometers from Cape Town. Surrounded by mountains, it is one of the most beautiful coastal villages that scatter the Overberg region. A place where there's a mixture of long white beaches and rocky coastline. Holiday homes are scattered all along this coast, all competing for the incredible views across the bay. It is a place where people fish and water sports are enjoyed. For an area that's not a nature reserve, there's a lot of wildlife. First there are the birds. Cormorants roost here throughout the day on the peninsulas of rock. And oyster catchers try to claim breeding rights on the rocks as well. Throughout the coastline, clans of Dussies have taken up residence. They spend their time basking in the sun, staring at the visitors, and doing raids on the neighboring plants when no one is watching. Down below in the sea, Ollie lives. Ollie is a seal who has adopted this corner of Pringle Bay. He spends his time sunning himself on his favourite rock. Occasionally his brothers also swim through the bay, but none have settled down like Ollie. All these animals are quite visible, but there's one which is as large as all of them that has learnt the art of being invisible. Yes, here among the bushes and paths between the cracks of the rocks, otters live. They're not frequently seen as they've learnt the art of hiding and putting a lot of emphasis on avoiding humans. They know every rock and cave, every entrance and exit. They know where they can sleep and not be disturbed. They know where they can find fresh water on this rugged coastline. It is here that we meet Kiba, a young female otter who has just given birth to 3 pups. Her first priority is to make certain that there are no humans around, which she does by standing on her hind legs. Her 3 pups are Billy, who's bolder than the others and quick to explore, along with Muffin and Whiskers. They're all quite naive as they are very young. Today she's taking her family down to a little rock island just off the coast. Here she does all the hard work of fishing. Crayfish are delivered to the rock, and Billy, Muffin and Whiskers are quick to help themselves and enjoy the hoard. Muffin has finished her last crayfish and is waiting patiently at the lowest spot of the rock. Kiba has not had time to enjoy something for herself, and instead of dropping it, takes a few bites. Crayfish are always eaten tail first, but Muffin has other plans. When Kiba finds another crayfish for herself, Whiskers, who is full now, comes down for a love. Otters show connection through resting their heads on each other's backs. Otters always hold their food up to their mouths, using their front feet. With an opposing thumb and forefingers, and no claws, it is hard not to see them as hands. Using them, she is able to reach inside the shell of the crayfish and eat it more effectively. In the background, in the shadows, Scar, the father of the pups, is watching. Male otters play no role in the upbringing of the pups. Scar visits from time to time and Kiba endures him to some degree, but she's never certain of his intentions. While Kiba is eating, Scar and his brother slowly swim closer, just off the rock. Scar tries to climb onto the rock from behind. She reacts with a sound only reserved for other otters and dives into the water after him. She is not happy. Scar and his brother reluctantly leave. Kiba is ready for her midday snooze. Cape Clawless Otters can come out at any time of the day or night, but generally prefer the twilight times. As individuals, Scar usually will come out only at night, and Kiba frequently takes her pups out during the day, if there are no people around. During the afternoon, the wind has come up, creating a few more waves. Billy has chosen this rock to wait for Mom, but Kiba is in no hurry. So Billy constantly calls to her a whistle, which is the most frequently used call of Cape Clawless Otters. However, Kiba has not been able to take care of herself with 3 demanding pups, so she has gone a short distance to fish for herself. Rather than bring her catch back to shore, she eats it in the water. She is even able to bite her catch under the water and swallow it by placing her head above the water. Billy is still not happy though, and keeps up his whistle. Kiba continues the hunt and manages to catch a fish underwater. All catching is done with her front feet. In fact, she can catch prey in almost zero visibility. Fish are eaten head first, often slightly out of the sea. and now she is ready to return to her pups and comfort them. Kiba leads her pups to a series of tidal pools, not often visited by people, where she knows she will not be disturbed. She knows every rock, crack and hiding place in the whole area. She knows where there are small caves close to the ocean where she and her pups could hide if necessary. Along a coastline such as this, there is a halt every 50 meters or so. She could choose any of them for hiding or sleeping. The pups are about 3 months old now. They were born during the month of October and were born blind. Their eyes only opened at about 2 months old, when they were taken out of the halt and then taught how to swim. Otters do not swim instinctively, and they would have been taught by Kiba in shallow pools near the birth halt. They are still learning the art and are not capable of diving as deep as their mother. Muffin has been holding this fish for a while now. All the pups are still learning the art of eating, and Muffin has not learnt the skill of holding a fish with her front feet effectively. When Muffin swam to this rock, she held the fish in her mouth, while her mother can quite easily swim while holding a fish with her feet. Billy has a crayfish. Eventually he settles down on this rock, but he still has to figure out how to get started. The tail does not open that easily, so it takes a while to get to the tasty meat inside. Kiba's first responsibility is always protecting her pups. She does this by constantly being on the lookout. Her sense of smell is extremely strong. Whiskers has to wait for some attention. Kiba starts to preen Whiskers, a way of creating closer bonding. This activity is normally reserved for inside the holt. Kiba leads her pups into deeper water a little way off the rocks. This is how she trains her pups to swim further. Muffin gets a bit tired and climbs onto a piece of seaweed for a rest. They choose to stop on a rock where there are residents already. Cormorants roost here throughout the day. Billy, Muffin and Whiskers have to get used to this new experience. When Kiba wants to move on, Billy follows her. But Whiskers is too nervous to go past the birds. Kiba needs to come back for her. She does this with a soft whistle. Billy sees Kiba bringing in a fish and is quick to respond. Although Cape Clawless Otters have no claws, there are tiny nails on the back feet. Kiba puts these to good use. Whiskers is still in the water and struggling to get on the rock. Kiba is quick to notice, and a little push helps. Kiba now chooses to head back to the holt over land. Whiskers follows immediately, but both Billy and Muffin are distracted by good food. Billy heads home, but Muffin takes forever. Muffin never made it back to the holt that night. She delayed too long and probably lost her way. The next day, Ollie the seal decides to come for a visit. Ollie is a little bit too friendly, and before you know it, Kiba decides to bolt for land. Otters always aim for land if there's danger in the sea, and aim for the water if there's danger on the land. Kiba leads the way, and the pups know that if there's something wrong. She goes to a small ledge and calls and continues calling until both Billy and Whiskers are out of the water. Now she's not willing to get into the water again, so sets her route across a cliff face. Eventually, Kiba and the pups settle down at a distance from Ollie, where they can feel safe. Kiba is more distracted than normal, and concerned for her other two pups, and wondering where is Muffin. Ollie just enjoys her swim. Whiskers continues to enjoy the crystal clear water, and is not too worried about anything. The next day, they head off for an area called Boat Bay. This is one of the main entrances to the beach and also a place where small boats can be launched. Yet this is an otter hotspot. Otters from all over the bay connect here at different times. In the early evening, even before all the beachgoers have left for the day, Kiba navigates the way down to the sea. Just 3 meters away, someone is lying on the beach, and Kiba goes around the other side of the rock and runs for the water. This is a good place to fish and is reasonably shallow at low tide, yet the small rocks are often swamped by waves. Keeper takes the two pups and heads back towards the holt. And suddenly, there's Muffin. She leads her family back for the night. Two months pass. It's now April. Kiba has stopped taking her pups out in the day. In most cases, it's a sunrise or sunset that triggers activity. This is when the family wakes up, does their ablutions and greetings, and then heads out to hunt. Often, one or two otters wake up first, exit the holt, and then spend time waiting for the rest of the clan to wake up. Here Muffin is waking up first, and she has no problem making her own entertainment while she waits for the others. At the same time, she's checking for the existence of humans in the area. And if an otter gets bored waiting for others, it's just a matter of going back to find everyone else. And soon the whole clan is having fun. Everyone is lying on top of each other, preening, wrestling and building clan connections. And Kiba keeps a watchful eye from behind. There are 4 sub-adults now. This is typical of this age group, where holts are frequently shared with other groups. Up to 11 otters have been observed exiting together out of one holt, but this is extremely rare. Kiba is not a young otter anymore, and although she participates a little in the party, she generally keeps herself separate. It's close to winter now. The first storm of the season thunders through Pringle Bay. 2 days of solid rain fall on the holt and its surroundings. This is a big side effect of stirring up the seas for a few days, and suddenly peaceful and calm water becomes whirlpools of froth. And the small pool where Kiba taught her pups to swim cannot be even approached by the most skilled of otters. No playing now, as the rest of the clan is not with them. they busy themselves with an important otter activity, marking their presence. This they do through rolling on the grass and scent marking the grass. And so we leave Kiba and her clan for this season. The pups will reach sexual maturity at about a year of age and become more independent, yet never losing the family connections that they've built as pups here in this corner of Pringle Bay. If you're ever staying on our southern coast for a night, somewhere out there in the twilight, you can know that otters are exploring the rocks, eating the crayfish, and having adventures.